What up, my freaks? RuinusInsight here with part 3 of my Total War Warhammer 3 Drazhoath the Ashen, Not Immortal Empire's Old World campaign. So as we saw last time, we have moved from our southern conquests to the north, wherein we are engaging in a hostile takeover of the House of Korak in order to turn their factories to our own dark purpose. Otherwise, we are looking fairly okay, as they're the main faction we're continuously fighting with, as long as we have this sort of barrier that we've created of other factions to our north. And I know I've already said this, but every time I log into start up the old world, I just gotta take another look at Drazhoath. This whole freaking thing just looks absolutely incredible, doesn't it? I'll absolutely love it, and I can't wait until we've conquered the whole thing. I also do notice that Zatan is over here, which is interesting, because if we maybe focus him first in the tower in the Conclave and force confederation with him, we can use Zatan, who is the commander of the Tower of Jar, to conquer the Tower of Jar for us, which would be appropriate, or at least conquer all the way around it, and then by then perhaps confederate the servants of the Conclave. But anyway, that's a long way off, and ooh, I do see the slaves of Jar are doing quite well here. They've got 5 territories to their name so far. So Jar, it's pretty jarring. I'm so stupid. I'll stop. What I won't stop doing is naming, though. It's time to get our first round of names underway, isn't it? And okay, you guys have given me like, I don't know, like 20 Kadai Fireborn names already. I appreciate the sentiment, but that's a lot of Kadai Fireborn names, A, and B, it's going to be quite a while until we reach them, so you're probably going to have to wait on those. The Kadai regular units are tier 4, though we can acquire them at tier 3, and then tier 5 for the destroyers. So yeah, anyway, let's name what we've got for now. First of all, we'll start with a couple of the Chaos Dwarf Warriors. You shall be humanoid resources, and you shall be demented downsizers. There we go. I don't think we're going to name either of the Hobgob Sneaky Gits in this particular army, depending on if we move them out, which for now we'll keep, but we'll still need full Hobgob in Gordas' army, and you do go full Hobgob. Anyway, employee relations for the blunderbusses, and the Fire Guard for the other blunderbusses. Might as well name one of our Fire Glaives, well, our only Fire Glaive, I guess. A Glare of Azgorh for you. Skipping these little guys, let's do our single Kadai Fireborn as well while we're in here. And how about Cremation Corps? Lovely, and let's do at least one of the Magma Cannons. Hell's Bells for you. I was about to type in for you because I'm confused. I am a confused person. Anyway, Dramar the Black. Now, you have a bunch of the Hobgobs. Let's start naming the Hobgobs later, maybe once they start splitting off into their own army, because then we'll know which Hobgobs get their names. Although, Dramar the Black, since you're going to be the one leading the Hobgobs, or, well, leading... we're leading Gordas' army. Let me just see here. I wrote this down. Yes, okay. Middle Manager Stormbreaker. And apparently Stormbreaker was the name of the manager of the leader of the army of Gordas in the Zatan campaign, so I appreciate the reminder. Anyway, I believe that's all we got to do this turn, as there really isn't much. We're heading towards the Labyrinth of Razors, and hopefully I don't forget to... Can't move any further? No. Hopefully I don't forget to, well, sack it or raise it. Well, let's find out. Skip, and then turn. Alright, hello. Inin of the Ashes has moved into the Labyrinth of Razors. Good for him. Tower of Jar, Zatan's Cruelty. Looks like Zatan has taken another seat, and let's see which one he's taken. But it looks like it's this one. Quartermaster, random weapon or armor every 3 turns. Not bad, but eventually we'll have them all. I also saw that the Convoy has been completed. Out of the Volary, got that free unit of Galbo Laborers. Convoy has arrived. Convoyer has arrived. Battle cruiser operation. Anyway, create a new convoy. I guess we'll send the next one off, and we should probably level this one while we're at it. Let's get you hidden stores for that additional casualty replenishment, since these guys do take a bit to heal. You are more or less fine, so we'll add you, and we'll send you further. Where haven't we gone before? Is there an... Ooh, Gristle Valley. Well, we've already gone to Gristle Valley. I was going to say we should sell off some of the armaments to... like here. 6 turns versus 7 turns. So an extra turn to get more money. Which ain't too bad, minus the fact that we've already been there, so we wouldn't get any kind of reward. But it's either of those two. Well, you know what, I guess maybe we're not looking for money as much as we are to reach every single one of these locations, at least one time. So let's go second circle first, ironically. Go here, and we'll reduce this by 2, and just take what money we can get for the armaments we're willing to give them. Because we could do all the way to... Oh, no, we can't. You can't type this number directly? Alright, whatever, just go, just go, just go. And we will also... did you have a point? Indeed you did. Let's get you wayfinders while you're at it. Lovely. Alright, now let us see about this guy, shall we? Can we reach him? Yes, we can. And you will have to reinforce, but that's fine. This guy, who I'm going to call Kuntij, will move on in. And what do we have in terms of defenses here? Not all that much, lots of hobgobs, and there's another army moving around. Pyrrhic Victory will have to reinforce with... Ooh, okay, gotta remember that we do have to sack the place. I almost forgot already. That was quick. Alright, let's move you right here while in channeling stance while you're at it. Let us also... Oh, you know what, do we need to fight this? I mean, it's mostly hobgobs, though there's no guarantee that we'll have another strong fight, but this is really quite weak. I have twice as many troops, and it's not like they have any chaos stores. You know what, I think we'll just auto-resolve. I'm gonna hope that it doesn't do too much in the way of damage. Yeah, we're still okay. Shrieking Blade, might have some uses. And we will sack the place to complete the quest. Once again, thank you for the reminder, because I absolutely would have forgotten it otherwise. Now, can I... Was that too far? I can't reach it, damn. Couldn't quite click it fast enough, so one of these guys will have to waste their turn occupying it. It's a little bit annoying that they auto-move away, and it always has been. But oh well. I tried pressing escape fast as I could, but it didn't quite work out. Anyway, free Shrieking Blade, and there's that 2.4k for our treasury. I guess both of you can channel while you're here. It's annoying that they won't be healing up, but... Oh well, well occupied next turn. Otherwise, Middle Manager Stormbreaker, you have completed your recruitment, meaning you are able to start moving shortly. This has also been completed. Ooh. I want to see how much it's worth to these guys. We're going to trade it to them anyway, so Sulfur Pits. Money. 11k? Yes, not even going to bother with the military alliance. The money is much more important. Let them have it, they'll love us for it, and they'll probably eventually ask for a military alliance anyway without any kind of further intervention. Next up, we've got a decent amount of labor here, so I think what we'll do is we will rush completion of the gold sluice to increase our money generation per turn, because our money's getting kind of bad, and then immediately... I guess build the gold refinery, but not rush it. We'll forego the ore level for now, and the gunsmith, I suppose. We could go for another mine for more raw materials, though I suppose it's probably more critical. Let's also move you while we're at it. It's probably more critical that we do so here, in Flayed Rock. Because we want to get the Flayed Tower up and running as fast as possible to get all that extra control. And while we're here, we may as well upgrade the locked stores, and... I guess we could do both strip mines, like so and like so. We do in fact have enough labor to potentially rush them, though in 2 turns we'll have to set an example with 200, so there is that. We have spices, we have goat herd, but neither of them really offers enough to be worth it in terms of upgrading them for the cost that they, well, cost. So we'll leave them alone for now. Nobler country, we could start on upgrading the 2 overseers camps here. Well, actually we could only do 1, but maybe it warrants doing. We could at least upgrade the locked stores and eventually spread more labor around to this place. Public order is reasonably okay. I mean, definitely can rush some stuff here. You know what? Let's rush the Black Causeway here. Let's do this, which will allow us to immediately build the next of the gold panners, at the cost of raw materials, mind you, but I think it's necessary. And let's also start upgrading the production plant as well, and then we'll go for the armaments building right here afterwards, which we won't upgrade. Still 5.4k treasury-wise. I guess we could just upgrade the underground caverns here. There's no guarantee that, in fact, there's a decent likelihood that we'll eventually switch this location to a factory rather than an outpost. At least the outposts generate pretty solid amounts of cash, though. But once again, we'll see. Yeah, just do this. Just do this for now. If we delete all those locations later, we'll delete them later. Also, you know what? Rush this construction as well. We do have the cash for it, or the units. And oh, we didn't have the gold sluice to upgrade it immediately, so perhaps I shouldn't have done that. Too late now. Ruinous. Good job. Anyway, let's actually rush both of these then. One and... Ooh, actually, I don't think we can rush the second. We won't have enough labor left over. Alright, that's fine. A little bit more raw material and money flowing immediately, so it's worth the rush, I should say. You are not yet ready to upgrade to level 12, but we can upgrade Gordas to give them Stickum, and then just one more, and then we'll be able to get the gits. You, sir, will max out increase mobility, which I assume doesn't take effect on the very turn that you max it out. Unfortunately, it doesn't, or else we would have been able to get to this. But oh well. There was you. I guess you can get Tyrant. You are not going to be commanding this army anyway, at least not right now, so you'll probably be continuing to command the Goblin Laborers. She'll also probably switch some of these units around maybe immediately after this, so there is that to consider. Anyway, Middle Manager Stormbreaker, keep moving this way. Or start moving that way, I guess. The laborers are slightly damaged, but that hardly matters, and I do believe that's all we gotta do, with the possible exception of Diplo. Rickett and Grutnik, I still don't know where these factions are on the map, unfortunately, which means we can't really do anything about them, and we are not going to peace out with these guys. And by the looks of it, we can't confederate with them by piecing out. And I think maybe you can't confederate and peace out at the same time anyway, so whatever. Complete a manufactory forgecraft upgrade will give us 2,000 treasury and 75 armaments, eh? I wonder if that might be worth our time if we do have enough missile infantry, so we could get the reload time reduction and cannot afford activation costs. Well, not yet, but that doesn't mean we won't be able to next turn. And we do have 5 of these guys. We have 4 Chaos Dwarf Warriors. We only have 1 Kadai, but we can't upgrade them in any way anyway. Alright. As long as we build up one of the things that generates armaments, we can do some of those upgrades and complete the quest. Gotta complete these quests. Anyway, unsigned skill points, outpost available buildings, yada yada yada, and turn. Alright, there we go, and hello, convoy encounter. A dwarf too far. A wandering convoy of our weak-willed former kin has stumbled into our lands. Their very presence here is an offense to the Father of Darkness, one that should be wiped away with blood. Now, do we slaughter them all or massacre them? Annihilation, perhaps. So many choices, and it's essentially the same choice twice, which I love. I guess slaughter sounds nice. It doesn't really matter. These foolish wazuks must be taught a lesson. Uskul Drazh-a-Draung, tear them apart. Also, grudge throwers and stuff. Might be looking like a fun fight. Love it. Gotta appreciate the convoys for giving us this. Also, before I forget, before we start the battle, yes, we did reach the engagement threshold, so this will be a long episode, at least an hour. I can't keep track of time. I don't believe in clocks. And if we reach 500 likes and 70 comments, the next episode will be a long episode as well. Plus, the streak continues, and if we maintain it through the weekend, we will do a double episode on one of the weekend days. Let's kill some OG dwarfs. Alrighty, I don't know what horrifying things our Overseer is saying, or our Convoy Master. Oh, it's just Overseer. Okay, well, whatever. Convoy Lord is saying, but, well, yeah, I'm sure they're horrifying. Anyway, here we go. Got a lot of those additional monsters that we're able to get in the convoys, or additional units. It's like having outpost units in the army without having outpost units in the army. And we got a couple of very solid units to our name here. The Black Dragon with its noxious breath, which we're about to get off on the enemy, and of course our Vargulf as well. Here comes the Dragon Breath, my favorite colored Dragon Breath, I think. I love the color scheme, and that's 54 kills and 12,000 damage out of a single breath, and a unit of Dwarf Warriors down to 30% of its HP. The Vargulf moves in as well, just trying to annoy the enemy miners with blasting charges a little bit, while our dragon sort of moves around the enemy army, dodging quarrels as it goes, in order to prepare to try to get to the enemy artillery pieces. Of course, the Grudge Throwers are firing away at our units, focusing our Dwarf Warriors, or our Chaos Dwarf Warriors, rather than our Goblin Laborers, which is a good move by the AI and the appropriate targeting. Now, the Black Dragon and the Vargulf have arrived, charging right through the enemy units into those artillery pieces. And, ooh, looks like the Black Dragon takes a big old volley of blasting charges, which do surprisingly solid damage to it, considering its armor. But I think that, well, I mean, we've seen the blasting charges hit Dwarf Warriors, Chaos Dwarf Warriors before, and not do too much, but I guess against a big old target like a dragon, and I guess generally big old targets, and they do pretty darn well. So we're going to back that dragon off, as it's now down to 30% of its HP. Some regular Dwarf Warriors, or the remnants of the Dwarf Warriors that we hit with the Dragon Breath, do attempt to charge us, but of course the fire arrows and the blunderbusses firing from upon top of that hill obliterate the rest of them. Our other unit of Dwarf Warriors on the left flank is holding off a unit of enemy miners, and should be able to hold them for a long time. The miners do have armor-piercing damage, but fighting directly probably won't allow them to apply too much, because their melee attack is still very, very low. Other unit of miners are probably going to get absolutely torn to shreds by our units of sneaky gits, and it looks like the enemy lord, a Demon Slayer, is currently in a fight with our Vargulf as well. Probably the best unit that we have to fight the enemy Demon Slayer, other than perhaps surrounding it with the piles of... Probably not Chaos Dwarf Warriors, as they're not super numerous, and this guy is low in armor, so probably Sneaky Gits would be the best way to do it. Anyway, the Vargulf will hit him a bunch of times, then back off, as it has started to take a fair bit of damage. We will continue the rest of our fight, trying to knock out the enemy Quarrelers. It does look like another unit of enemy Quarrelers actually decided to charge into our Chaos Dwarf Blunderbusses, which was a clever move by the AI. I don't know if it was on purpose, but considering Quarrelers can fire over a hill, it looks like it was. And certainly the blunderbusses are going to be more devastating at short range than Quarrelers are, so good on the AI for trying that out. Unfortunately for them, the mobility of the dragon allowed it to close the distance and free up those units of blunderbusses. Another Dragon Breath comes down, another volley from the blunderbusses as well. The balance of power shifts to about 80% in our favor. That said, the Vargulf is down below half HP, and the Black Dragon, I believe, is below half HP as well, which is certainly a concern. And the enemy lord remains alive, but now being focused down by the Overseer as well as the Black Dragon and all those hobgobs. Otherwise, it looks like most of the enemy army is broken, or at least getting ready to break. Of course, the enemy Demon Slayer will fight to the death, being unbreakable and all that. But there's only so much he'll be able to do. And especially with those gobos keeping on stabbing him in the back, etc., etc., with those little daggers of theirs. And there we go, huh? Now that he had this sort of leap animation where he falls onto the ground. Interesting. Well, the Demon Slayer is down to 15% HP, and now, by the looks of it, the rest of his army has booked it on out of there. We'll do our best to chase it down. I'm not entirely sure whether convoy battle armies actually disappear once we win, or whether a small remnant of them remains. Because obviously if it does, then we do want to chase, but if it doesn't, perhaps not so much. Anyway, the Demon Slayer is the last unit on field, and he's that jumping forward animation is almost like a Tomb Scorpion. He's going to whack away at a few Chaos Dwarf Warriors, but he will run out of HP eventually, even if he does manage to rip a few of the Dwarf Warriors apart. On the right side, I'm sure he's happy. He's a demon slayer fighting the Chaos Dwarfs, which do love binding their own demons, though as I mentioned before, Kadai aren't really demons, and ouch, it looks like he loses his head and collapses. Yeah, Kadai are more like, well, they're supposed to be fire elementals, but they're basically fire combined with demon energies into sort of non-sentient, demonic-like creature created by the demon smiths. And then, of course, we do have demon engines where they do bind actual chaos demons and all that sort of stuff. And yeah, Chaos Dwarves are pretty interesting in the way they go about all of that sort of stuff. I guess because Hasha doesn't seem to, at least, have a direct demons to him. So, oh, wow, you could go down into this geyser thing. Huh, neat. Yeah, well, that's the way they need to acquire their demons. Anyway, nice little fight for the convoy. All right, very nice. Nice. Very nice. So once again, gotta appreciate those convoy battles. And yeah, there'll probably be growing pains in the first few episodes while we increase the number of armies in terms of traveling distance to actually get fights every turn. But the more armies we have, the more likely we will be able to get fights every turn. Eventually, we'll have enough armies so that we're fighting just as much as we would be if it was an Immortal Empires campaign. So I just gotta get through the first hurdle, and the convoys will certainly help with that. Lots of damage from our Black Dragon and Vargulf, and they obviously took the most damage, though of course the Vargulf has the hunger, so it'll be able to heal itself up just fine. And while I would love to take the money, I think we've no choice but to conscript the captives and heal up a little bit, because who knows whether this army will run into another force. Assuming that convoys can run into more than one force at a time. Not actually 100% sure on that one, but well, quite tempted by the money and the labor, I gotta say, though. Do we risk it? You know what? Well, let's risk it. Transport captives, ransom captives. I'm going to say labor so that we can rush a few more things and spread it around as needed. All right, next up we have... Ooh, hello, free money. And a Black Gem of Nar. And so is a Trickster Shard. Now, the Black Gem of Nar gives the melee attack minus 100% and the invulnerability. We have been getting Gordas kind of in dangerous situations, so I think what we'll do is give this to him, but hopefully he doesn't get wrecked by stuff. So Gordas, that's you. We'll lose the Dawnstone, we'll get you that, and we don't have any armors, unfortunately. The rest of this I think we can't do anything with, and we have the Razor Standard here. Can't give you the Shrieking Blade, although the magical attacks, you have the Sky Titan string. You know what? The magical attacks will probably give you more value than 10% range, especially since your range is going to be kind of lackluster anyway. So the Shrieking Blade in this particular rare situation will probably be more worthwhile, which is interesting. Otherwise, we are good. Next up, Conclave, Tower of Jar. We're going to grab the Legate of Jar in order to get the Armor of Contempt. Armor ability. It is a significant power-up, especially for the Gobos once the lines clash. And yes, we, in theory, really want Consul as well, and there's a decent likelihood that we won't get it because of this, but I think this has to be the priority, so we'll do this. And there we go. At least this also gives us Military District, immediately causes wall breaches when besieging, which is helpful as well. And oh, that unlocked the next tier of the tower as well. Interesting, interesting. Blood and Fireborn. Summons like a unit of Kadai Fireborn. That is probably the one we will prioritize. We got, ooh, Conclave Influence +1 per turn for factory settlement buildings. Maybe that actually has to be prioritized. The more we have, the better. Also, was that... No, okay, that wasn't the end of the road for you. And just a fight. Also, let's pick our next tech, which is going to be Extended Shifts, if nothing else, for the raw material increase plus 10%. As got to keep those percentages growing. And next, I guess what we'll want to do... Let me just think about this for a second. I guess we could try to send Drazh to Tower of Grief. There isn't... Well, there's a good chance that he won't be able to reach it. Let's find out. He will not be able to reach it from here on the same turn, unfortunately. So it is what it is. What we could do then is this. Drazh... Okay, I guess put you both into regular stance for now. And Drazh, you're gonna trade units. Maybe it's time to swap out Gordas. Or is it? Well, I just realized something. If we do this right now, you know what? Maybe we'll wait. Swap out Gordas once these guys are done and once the reinforcing army has brought the additional troops. The thing is, Gordas is providing healing, casualty replenishment rate to Drazh's army, which means that it's still pretty critical that we maintain it. Nice for a little bit. Huh, another Shrieking Blade. We will occupy the place as outpost, I think. At least here. And yeah, sure, keep the Shrieking Blade for now, and then we'll repair the place for a little bit of cash. We will also accept new labor, I guess, because we need to get that strip mine up and running, and frankly, we're probably going to transfer some labor here as well, assuming that... Well, actually, we can't transfer from here. We have a little bit to spare here, but we'll see. And... Oh! You can reach this now. Well, isn't that lovely? Go to the Tower of Grief, then, and then auto-resolve that. And then you try not to die. In the meantime... Alright, Drazh, a lovely close victory, medium casualties. Oh! They have a Death Shrieker rocket. I feel like you can't capture enemy artillery pieces when in settlement battles and only against army battles. I could be wrong, though. But we don't have space anyway, unless we delete one of the hobgobs, and frankly, I've been playing this game for a long time, and I have never ever managed to capture an artillery piece, and there were several campaigns where I was actively trying to do it, so I'm not going to chance that it'll actually work out here, and we'll just auto-resolve it. Goodbye, artillery piece, and occupy his tower. Now we're not spending Conclave influence on you. Lovely, and ooh, we actually need to repair it. That's a shame, because that'll mean 3 extra turns waiting for the influence, funnily enough. Oh, well, and oh, wow, it costs 930. Darn. That's a lot, but I guess we don't have a choice. That's basically all of our raw materials. Oh well. And yeah, clearly the auto-resolve, we needed the healing. And why did the magma cannons get damaged from the auto-resolve? How the heck did that happen? And for what possible reason? Weird, but whatever. Now, we did finally level up to level 12, which means Towering Heights gives us the research and construction cost. Construction cost, hello. This is now down to 2 turns, and save about 100 raw materials. Then, we'll want to immediately go for Greed of Azgorh first, because it's a faction-wide buff. And too nice not to get. We'll get Long Years of Exile, I guess, even though we don't get the benefit of the Flames of Azgorh as yet, because we don't have the spell. We'll get there. Like so, and then we'll try to move through Masters of Hell as fast as possible to unlock Reforge for you. I mean, of course, we'll be getting everything, though I think we'll hold off on both Ashen and maybe even We Are Legion as well, because it's probably better to try to hit Flames of Azgorh for him to be able to cast it. Next up, Gordas. You are 1 point away from Get the Gits, which is what you'll need for being in your own army. Inspiring Inferno. Yeah, let's get it. Immunity to Psychology for the Fireglaves in this army, even if it ain't all that much. Alright, it looks good. Then, I mean, I guess we'll stay in the Tower of Grief. I was going to say we should leave in Channel, but frankly, we'll need to heal up because the auto-resolve decided to, for some reason, screw our magma cannons, and not in a good way. You, keep proceeding this way, please. And you do the same. Alright, next up, what do we have here? So we could upgrade both of these Overseer's camps, which we were certainly planning to do. Tempting to rush construction here at the cost of quite a bit of labor, but the sooner we get started on the Flayed Tower, the better. I'm hoping that we have enough money to do so, otherwise this will be a mistake. And how many turns? Ooh, 1 turn. Next turn we'll need to lose 200 labor, and I assume, we won't be able to reach this next turn. Yeah, we can't rush it, unfortunately. I would have loved to, but what can you do? We could transfer labor here, but frankly, I don't think we're ready for it yet. Because we'll be losing 200 labor from here and there. Alright, which means, unless I'm mistaken, we're ready to end the turn. Yes, no raw materials, nothing else that we can spend. We'll save the money for the Flayed Tower and assign skill points at the outposts available and all that can go. We'll double check Diplo, because we didn't do it, I think, for at least a turn. House of Korak wants peace, but that ain't gonna happen, and I still don't know where Clan Ricket is. Although I suppose we can guess. They're fighting Pig Barter, they're fighting Tepok Spawn, and they're allied with the Caravan of Blue Roses, which means they're probably down here. They're probably fighting for territory that we want for ourselves, because this is going to be relatively safe territory past the river here with the mountains protecting it, meaning we'll probably want that as a priority, meaning we can't leave anybody there alive, or leave anybody alive there. Let's go to the manufactory / Hellforge. And 10 physical resistance versus real. Oh! We still can't afford this, can we? Oh, no, well, we can now. 32 is better than 40, I guess. Although this will increase our damage fairly significantly. Well, these guys have to take the hits for us. Nah, fine. We'll do this. And it's a little bit cheaper. Like so. We could always undo it and then... yeah, I wanted to complete the quest. Lovely. And, of course, we got the armaments back for it as well. Now we can end the turn. Alright, there we are. What do we get here? A bone to pick, income from all buildings, all regions faction-wide. Ooh, looks like we lucked out, and then we did not luck out, as we found the disciples of Hashut, and Drazh is probably very angry about it. A thaumaturgist in one of your provinces has been tasked with squeezing greater profit from industrial processes. Lost in thought one day while inspecting a smelting plant, he slipped and plunged into the roiling slag. His death was not in vain, however, as the smelters discovered that the introduction of osseous matter worked to strengthen the metal, raising its value. Profits are up faction-wide. You'd think that the dwarfs would be already pretty familiar with the concept. They're essentially adding, they're basically adding bone, so bone meal to it, so, well, whatever. Toxic steam vents, I should say, is the place we go to next. Although, it really also depends on where the next enemy army is. This army probably can't function on its own as yet, so we gotta be relatively careful with it. I guess depending on what these guys still have, which definitely probably isn't all that much. Go here. Stay on the edge of our territory. Okay, there it is. Can't see what's in there, though. I mean, you can still leech XP and move down there. How close are you? I'm getting there. Alright, keep moving. It's a little bit concerning that all of our strength is very far. If somebody attacks our southern territories, it's gonna be fairly iffy for us. We'll need to move down there. And also, who do we have bordering us now? House of Berserk Chaos Dwarfs. The Desolated Expanse is a big territory with nothing but this there, and they have 4 territories. Huh, interesting. We could use them as another barrier, potentially, if we stay friends with them. Who are they currently fighting? Clan Chrysor, another Skaven, and Moonhowlers, eh? And there's potential for it. Especially if we manage to get the, Tower of Jar thing that gives us relations with Chaos Dwarfs, and somebody did suggest we do so in the comments as well. And it's a nice big barrier that we wouldn't have to deal with. Who's over here? Mines of Azgorh. I wonder if we have something like a landmark there. Okay, we can't see who's over there. It's probably these guys as well, to be perfectly honest, but I guess we'll see. Anyway, I guess we can keep moving you forward. It's not like this guy has a lot in the way of strong units. Keep moving forward and channel like so. I'd like to go here, meaning you can move a little bit further this way. I just want to make sure that this guy can't get to the Tower of Grief. All right. Otherwise, our efficiency is okay, but we will need to pop the public order. So let's go. Set an example and set an example. No choice. And 816 and 758, so we'll move 1 to here. And I would love to move 200 there, but it's not possible right now, so we're just going to hold off on it, Plains of Grief. You're not going to be super happy. Anyway, I'd love to rush this, but we don't have the spare labor yet. Huh, I guess we did end up running out of labor. Go figure. We do have raw materials, though, at the cost of that labor, so let's get that gold sluice up and running. Keep the gold flowing. And we could increase our armaments as well, should we desire it, but it is at the cost of raw materials, and I think right now armaments aren't super critical. We should also probably save up the rest of the raw materials for another upgrade of a main settlement. And hold on to the money as well, just because I don't know how much this landmark is going to cost. Oh, we could just check how much it's going to cost. 5.1k, quite a bit. But yeah, maintain what we have, especially if we need to get an emergency army up and running. Though I am very tempted by both of these Overseers camps. We'd still have just enough if we start on them. Just start on them. They're going to take a while to build. And we got 2 turns to rack up the cash that we need, so we are looking good. Alright, skip building upgrade and outpost available. We're not paying for it, that's for certain. Eliminate some random lord, win 8 battles working on it, and carry out a successful assassination from... Okay, wow, that's like half a map away. That's not happening. Let's end the turn and see about destroying these guys for good. Well, they got better defenses at Dronangkul here. If maybe we should attack this place with Drazh first and then go after the toxic steam vents. We'll see if he tries to run or not. I guess that'll be the question. Alright, end turn. And I completely forgot about this guy, but at least he's still moving where he's supposed to go. Alright, constructor for Drazh, more construction cost reduction, crown lies in the Empire. Well, we can't get to that anytime soon. Drazh, you can indeed reach a Dronangkul, which means we're gonna fight. Lovely. Let's hit it. Lots and lots of gobos, but it is what it is. It should still be pretty fun. And decisive victory and medium casualties. We can't risk them wrecking our poor magma cannons again, so we're not gonna let them. We will, however, move their army in A to leech and B to go after the toxic steam vents, perhaps, as we send Drazh elsewhere. Like here, which is pretty close. And I guess the Gordas will lead the other army to the Nobbler Warren so that we can take this entire territory together. I take it that the Howling Expanse... Oh, it's another big old territory. I wonder if this is full of rats. Or is it just empty? Either way, it's a big old territory that we can border... that borders our kingdom here, which actually really works well for us, I think. No factions bordering us, meaning less likely that we'll get randomly attacked by them. Kuntish, go here, please. And then I guess you are still moving in to take all of those units from them, so we'll fight in a sec. We'll upgrade some of the stuff once we've taken the territory as well, or we can wait until we have the entire territory so that we can get the commandment up and running. Move you this time. I won't forget you this time. I will forget you the next time, though, because I know me. Alright, we got 1 turn. We could rush it and start on that flayed rock thing for 70. We should be able to get some labor out of this fight, so let's do this. And then immediately build this. 5.1k, exactly what we had. And we do have the raw materials now. Hold off on getting or spending more raw materials. I would love to get the sluice gate, but I think, well, we'll still be able to upgrade the tower here next turn, so I think we'll save for that. We gotta upgrade our main province as it's the least likely to get attacked suddenly while we're away. Anyway, Drazh, time to fight again. This time you can debut CINDERBREATH, which we've been waiting for against all those poor hobgobs, these overseers that really should have known better. Go. Whatever he said about Ostrogoth, I agree entirely. There we go. At last we have a CINDERBREATH, the personal Veil Taurus of Drazhoath, and a significant power-up offered to this lord. He's already a hybrid lord, but obviously being slow on foot isn't doing him any favors, but now he can fly, drop spells from up on high, and has a lot more splash damage available to him. Though I notice he has no... he doesn't have an attack that or a effect that he applies. Interesting. We'll see if he does get an effect of some kind. If he doesn't, we'll have to find him one. Anyway, he'll drop a few of those burning wraths from up above and get ready to get CINDERBREATH down upon the enemy. Veil Taurus breath, and ooh, it does look like he can get knocked back by the arrows, but not so much that they can't get the breath off. Beautiful. And from now on, of course, Drazh will be able to lead the charges of our much slower army as they approach and try to get into position. Before they even do, he's already got 52 kills to his name, and by the looks of it, the support fire is an arrow fire from our own Hobgob units, as well as the magma cannons as well. We probably won't be fighting other Chaos Dwarfs a lot, so we gotta enjoy it while we can, because they'll be gone very, very shortly, most likely. Especially as we'll probably be confederating the other Chaos Dwarven factions, which means not fighting them directly either. Anyway, moving into the enemy settlement now. Damn, that's a lot more units than I remember there being, but we will deal with it. Blunderbusses together with the Fireglaves in the center, as well as the Castellan leading them. And the Fireglaves can, of course, respond to enemy units in melee. And the Castellan moves ahead of the firing line. Looks like some of those units of those poor gobos or Hobgobs. 71 units left, and those volleys from our units are particularly nasty. Lovely. Charging forward, ooh, these shots from the magma cannons sailing overhead, absolutely glorious fire from the artillery crew there. Glorious aim, I should say. And we are in position in the enemy settlement. Now we will block off both entrances to, well, the location where our range units are, and keep firing support fire. Foolishly, hobgoblins are firing down upon us from this bridge where they thought they had a vantage point, but of course our units of magma cannons up on that hill are able to fire right back at them, and probably considerably more effectively, I might add. Drazhoath is fighting. We gave him a chance last episode to sort of show off on foot because we knew that CINDERBREATH was coming, and now we gotta watch those CINDERBREATH animations as well. I'm gonna get that burning wrath off to a relatively close distance, clear the way a little bit, as Drazhoath did get surrounded by piles of those Hobgob Wolf Raiders. And here come our blunderbusses and fireglaves to help out as well. It does look like the Wolf Raiders have enough mass to sort of push CINDERBREATH back a little bit, slash prevent it from attacking, but against regular infantry, it doesn't seem to have too much trouble. Alright, the Wolf Raiders are back, but we probably want to target them directly. There we go. One hit, what, 3 or 4 down? That's what I like to see. I want to see the big ol' AoE animation that this thing does. I know that it has one. It'll do it eventually. Ah, there it is. Hey, there we go, touchdown, and probably should have been back, but hopefully we'll see the next one from another angle. Alright, and of course the rest of our units are moving up now as well. The Fireglaves holding the enemy back, and the blunderbusses beginning to fire into the blob. I do always love the fact that Fireglaves are strong enough in melee to act as a pseudo-melee unit until the Demented Downsizers in this particular case, but the Chaos Dwarf Warriors move past them and engage the enemy in melee and allow them to fire. Frankly, the Fireglaves melee attack at 52 is exactly, well, pretty much the same as that of the Chaos Dwarf Warriors, and just lower melee defense. Anyway, we're back in action with more burning wrath as those poor laborers move into the fiery blender. And that doesn't seem like a good place to be. And they try to charge those blunderbusses, and it's not working out for them all that well either. CINDERBREATH just having a grand time charging through those units now that there are no more Hobgob Wolf Raiders to block it off. Lovely. Oh, look at them prancing around. Goring things, murdering things. Such a happy bull. And there we go, nice big old splash damage with those wing attacks as well, and ooh, nice hit with those horns. Alrighty, so that's CINDERBREATH. Let's see what's going on with the rest of the battle. We are, of course, not attacking the enemy from only a single location. Here we are moving Gordas in together with his cohort of Hobgoblin Sneaky Gits to try to hunt down the enemy Overseer. And over here, we have 2 units of blunderbusses protected by 2 units of Dwarf Warriors as we move towards this particular capture point. We will, of course, have to destroy a couple of units on the way, and the enemy did attempt to charge us ineffectively. And I imagine the next unit will follow suit as well. They fire back at us with those fire arrows, but unfortunately, or perhaps very appropriately, fire damage from the enemy arrows is not particularly effective against the Chaos Dwarf units, because they have that massive amount of fire resistance of theirs, plus armor on top of that. And the fact that the Hobgoblins are weak to the Chaos Dwarfs themselves once again does seem very appropriate. The same cannot be said for the other way around, however, as the Laborers and Hobgobs alike start getting absolutely ripped apart by the Kadai, whether it be Fire Breath or their Firebomb thing that they do, or their Twin Axes. Do love see them towering over everything else, as the rest of our troops do tend towards a little bit of being tolerarly challenged. I didn't say the word. And by the looks of it, the battle is very nearly ours. The balance of power has shifted to 90%. The enemy did attempt to rally and charge our Fireglaves and blunderbusses, but of course has failed to reach the gun line, and even if they did, they probably would have failed. And I know I've said this before, but I absolutely love the Chaos Dwarfs firing, or not firing, well, also firing, but I love their sound design. Probably the best faction in terms of sound design in the game. The Dreadquake sound, fantastic. That low sound that they have when they strike the blunderbusses, the pew-pew of the Fireglaves, the ammunition of the various machinery units, so the sort of reloading, the clanking of the machinery. It's all fantastic. Anyway, Drazhoath continues to fight by himself because now that he has CINDERBREATH, he's more or less a one-man army, and once he gets Flames of Azgorh, surrounding him like this will be a very, very bad idea. Not that it's a good idea there. Beautiful. That was the perfect timing for that big ol' attack. I'm very happy with CINDERBREATH so far. And I can't wait to see what we can do with cheap casts of Flames of Azgorh. Though not to worry, I'll try not to sort of steal the show from the rest of our army too much. I do have a tendency to sort of avoid spamming big damaging spells too much, generally preferring to use either small spammable damaging spells or otherwise just buffing the army or debuffing the enemy to allow the army to fight. And while we will have very cheap Flames of Azgorh, we will of course be casting it. Don't want to win every battle just by spamming Flames of Azgorh, as that wouldn't be so fun for the Kadai, which will want to play, I'm sure. Anyway, the bounce power 95% in our favor now. The blunderbusses have obliterated the units blocking them off on the very right flank and are moving in to capture the minor supply location. The Kadai have nearly cut their way through the Goblin Cutthroats. Oh, theirs are the throats that will be cut, although the axes from the Kadai are bigger than the goblins themselves, so, well, I mean, yes, their throats will be cut, but so will everything else. It's technically the truth. And of course, Gordas is in the middle of this attacking the enemy lord, who's down to about half of his HP as well, and he's not getting away from the big ol' hobgob. Maybe not so big, but bigger than, or at least taller than the enemy lord. Actually, Gordas does look pretty big, doesn't he? That's a big boy. Maybe his model is slightly bigger, or it's maybe just because he's sort of hunched over and sitting on his wolf. But anyway, I do believe the battle is very, very nearly ours. Our reinforcements have arrived, but we're not really using them, just leaving them back there, with the exception of some wolf raiders that we're just gonna send in to try to help out. CINDERBREATH apparently falls through the bridge there. Our Oglacon's wolf boys charging on in as they found an isolated unit of Hobgob archers, which will be ripped apart in short order, as Oglakons are a sort of hybrid unit that is similar to a combination of the Wolf Raiders with bows and the sort of melee variant. Alright, although they don't have anti-large by the looks of it, actually they do. They do have +5 bonus versus large. I think the regular units have +10. Considering they're specialized, it does make sense. Anyway, that unit is done for. The balance of power shifts to 100% in our favor, and it looks like we are good. Well done, an Ash Storm to finish off the battle, and Ostrogoth looks pretty happy about the whole situation. And still, the fights in the Chaos Dwarven locations are all just so fantastically atmospheric. You gotta love them. Anyway, why isn't the battle ending? Oh, okay. We just have to get into proximity of the enemy Overseer, which we will in seconds until he shatters and gives the battle to us. There. Alright, there we go, a really fun fight. Gotta love those SFO sieges and minor settlement battles. I love the fact that we couldn't just sort of steamroll right through the enemy army, but had to slowly and methodically clear the streets, even if it was against the enemy Gobos. And of course we had the armor to rely upon and all that stuff, but well, don't underestimate range fire from all those Hobgob archers, which were our main focus. Lovely. Of course, the steamrolling will increase considerably once we have Dreadquakes and decent numbers of the Kadai, whether destroyers or otherwise. In terms of damage and kills, it looks like for the blunderbusses, the Fire Guard took the prize this day. And while there's only one unit of Kadai, but the Cremation Corps did the most kills and the most damage, other than Drazhoath, who has racked up 671 kills and 60,000 damage. Now that he has CINDERBREATH, it's a pretty significant power bump for him, both in mobility, the ability to cast Burning Wrath where it needs to go, etc, 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 and he'll get another power up once he is able to get the let's get the outpost. We need the labor, yeah. Well, I guess we get labor for both of these, but I don't remember. Just get an outpost for now. Once he is able to get his Flames of Azgorh, and it looked like it's at level 13, but it looks like he's just a teensy bit short. Oh well. Only toxic steam vents remain, but for now, we will hold off on upgrading anything. I mean, some things are really cheap, like the money pits and stuff, so let's get the money pit at least. We can also... we could immediately upgrade the Tower of Grief here, though it might be better to just grab the donation barrel for a little bit of cash and the, I guess, patrol routes for a little bit of public order. And we do want to get the ziggurat tenements everywhere, but the fact is, for them to be really useful... Well, actually... I do like the character experience rate game, but we're a little bit hungry for slots, so I don't think that we can build those anywhere as yet. So yeah, just get the patrol routes, even at the cost of the raw materials, and besides we'll be getting more raw materials in other places shortly. Labor. We have a little bit of spare labor here, and I guess we do need to transfer it then. Let's do 1, and then to the Plains of Grief, except because we'll need to pop in the set an example and get that control going, otherwise the control will completely screw us over. Otherwise, we get a little bit of cash, we get a little bit of resources, but I think we're saving it. We've got this thing coming, and I'd love to rush it. I'll be a little bit short of labor, but it might actually be worth it. And we will be getting more labor after attacking the next settlement. We can always transfer from Lower River Ruin. Yeah, I think we'll do that. A rush construction. There we go. Gotta need that public order. And just out of curiosity, Chaos Undivided, Technologies, Collection, Buildings. Look, I couldn't tell whether the other place moved in terms of its public order. I'm wondering whether the... +4 adjacency bonus works for Lower River Ruin, or it's only these locations. But, oh well. Yeah, we got 98 efficiency, 98 efficiency. We'll transfer from you to you. And actually, you know what? Keep it as it is. You sure want to exit? Yes. Keep it as it is, 98, whatever it is fine. Never let a Chaos Dwarf hear you say that. 98 proficiency is fine. Yeah. Go back to the mines. Tyrant for you, sir. Alright, looks good to me. I believe that's another end turn. Skip outpost, and once we take these guys out, we'll be heading to fight some Imperials. That'll be pretty fun. Ooh, and an unfortunate development. Looks like Clan Gouger, our Skaven friends, have decided to attack the Pallid Nurslings, Nurglites. That's not good. That's not good because these guys are located here, and, well, we were trading with Clan Gouger, but we're allied with the Pallid Nurslings, that we could break our alliance with them, but that would destroy our reliability, and right now we'll probably need the alliance of the nearby, or at least some of the nearby factions. It does mean we'll need to move here quick and probably get another temp army set up here in case of attack, so no choice in the matter. Enter war on side of allied defender Pallid Nurslings. These guys are probably going to go for us because of the anti-player bias, so we gotta be ready. I'm very concerned about Flayed Rock right now. We just used a ton of resources to get that thing up and running, and it's pretty critical to what we're doing here. Otherwise, oh, I should have probably, whatever. I was about to say I should have edited out the last of this end turn, but it was already at least halfway through, so we just got a little bit more to go through. So how's everybody doing? Alright, let's see if these Skaven show up. I don't know where in the order they were. Well, actually, I do know where in the order they were. Around halfway, because that's when they attacked. Alright, don't see them yet. Alright, and hello, what do we have here? The Conclave has decided that one of our senior commanders must lead an expedition to replenish our supply of laborers. Ideally, greenskins suit us best, for they are cowardly in the extreme and so stupid that they're easily dominated by the superior Dowie will. Where should we send this expedition so it is the most fruitful? So we get a bunch of buffs for fighting various factions, fighting against ogres and greenskins, fighting against dwarfs, fighting against Skaven. So this will give us money. I would have actually preferred the labor, but it's not like we're fighting demons, warriors of chaos, or Norska right now, so I guess we gotta go for south. I'm actually very tempted by the Conclave influence, even at the cost of this. It is only unit experience gain, but if we get attacked, the bonus leadership will be quite helpful for us, and I think we gotta forego the Conclave influence as much as this is the superior pick here south. South it is, Skaven it is. Issued for the Alliance. Enter a military alliance with these guys. Maybe. If they're willing to give us decent amounts of cash, then possibly yes. Oh. We have to pay them. That's not happening. They'll ask for another alliance later on, I'm sure. Now, out of curiosity, how strong is Clan Gouger? Where are they? Well, I guess we could just do quick deal, peace, and... Huh. Actually very close to piecing out, despite the fact that they're fighting these guys. I suppose if they start approaching one of our territories, we could declare war on the Darkland Bandits, and then peace out with them like that. We don't have to do it right now. Granted, we could just let them destroy these guys, or just let the two fight it out. I also don't know where the Darkland Bandits are, which is not super helpful. I guess it depends on whether we want to keep these guys around. And now that, I mean, they are in the center of our territory, which I generally don't like. It's not horrible, but the buffer will not serve as much of a purpose later. And we could always find somebody else closer to the edge of our territory, essentially where we want to stop advancing to do that. So there is that. I'm going to consider this and think about it. For now, we got other things to do. You two are able to attack, and we can maybe... Is this the time to trade stuff? We've got... Yeah, we could probably trade. Alright. Who do we want to head over here, depending on... Okay, wait. We need to decide now, then. If we go down here, we'll need to peace out with the rats. Honestly, I think it's more advantageous for us to peace out with the rats, regardless of what happens with Methanian here. So, Clan Gouger, we will do this right now. Join war against the Darkland Bandits, and then we'll peace out with you, and who knows, maybe we can peace out with the Darkland Bandits. It's amusing. Go for it. Valid Nurslings won't like it, but, you know, we're Chaos Dwarves, we're pretty sneaky, too. Otherwise, I guess we're good. Clan Ricker. I don't know where you are. So I don't know whether we should be doing a non-aggression pact with you. Oh, well, I guess we'll figure that out. Now, we need to, I guess, wait the turn to upgrade this. So, we will do this. In fact, I guess you'll both move. One last turn. We'll trade our units next turn. This one will auto-resolve. Can you move in? Ah, yes, good. You'll be able to leech a little bit of XP, which is just swell. Alright, you go here. All three of you. You go here. My PC doesn't explode. Alright, and you go here as well. Like so. That could have been bad. These guys are still reasonably okay with us, huh? They're getting some... No non-aggression pact, eh? Moonhowlers and Clan Krizor. I have a feeling we're going to get into a fight with Clan Krizor, but as long as they're on our borders, I think this is okay. We will have Drazh attack this place, which will level them up to level 13 as well. I assume the auto-resolve won't kill anybody, since we vastly outnumber the enemy now. Yeah, looking pretty okay. And we got decent rewards out of it as well. We will occupy the place again as an outpost. We might build one factory here, but for now we'll do the outpost thing. And then we'll see. We just need tons and tons of raw materials. Besides, we do have the carved obsidian here, which I just want to double check. Is it territory-wide? Raw materials 500 per turn. Raw materials... No, it's just an increase to raw materials. Oh, this means I think we do want to build one factory then. The question is where it would be best to do so. I think maybe toxic steam vents? Oh, actually, no. It would be best to build it here. And the reason for this is this. Enemy killed in battle, Scepter, Ogre Blade, Plains of Grief, Faction Destroyed. Yeah, alright. Let's do the Masterful Architects. Then, the reason I figure that we want 3 places, which is why it's difficult to build factories in lots of other places, is we'd want all 3 of these. So we'd want the armament assembly line to get armaments, we'd want the gold refinery to get gold, and then we'd want the tools manufactory in that particular province to increase the amount of raw materials, specifically from the obsidian, which generates a ton and will actually make it worthwhile to build there. Though I guess we don't have to do that this turn, so yeah. Speaking of this turn, alright, let us transfer. You're not damaged enough to be concerned, so you are going to... Did I take the wrong lord? I mean, sort of. Sort of. Alright, we have too many laborers, but anyway. You transfer the laborers, you transfer these guys. Like so. Alright, now, you are at 19 out of 20. Gorda's... Okay, wait, I might have overdone it slightly. Go here. As soon as that guy stops moving, we'll trade those. And middle manager Stormbreaker, let us get you Brutal Disciplinarian immediately and try to get you into Harsh Master, because your army is now going to be costing us quite a lot more than this guy's. I guess we can swap their units around. You know what? While we level, let's keep these armies together, like so. And because it costs us an extra 500 gold per turn to not be commanded by an army that, a lord that has Harsh Masters. So let's do that, as weird as that little switcheroo was. Now, you need to take the Ogilcon's Wolf Boys and Gordas himself, and you need to transfer back 2 units, meaning 1 Hobgob Sneaky Git, and I guess 1 of the Hobgob Archers. Giving you 19, which is room enough for just 1 unit of... Caster. I don't know why I said it like that. Anyway, the rest of you are good. Gordas, you are now powered up, and that's why we transfer you right now. You also got the needs stabbing, but Get the Gits allows us to summon Hobgoblin Cutthroats. We are also near to that Conclave influence. Honestly, if we have spare labor, it might be better to sell off. Oh, we wouldn't be able to do so right now anyway, would we? Oh well. You transfer. Not quite max efficiency. Transfer again, I guess. Fine. There we go. Alright, and then we won't upgrade anything here, at least until next turn. We will switch you to factory. And wait, I always forget, do we need to delete you or no? I guess we're going to delete you. Convert to factory. These things will both remain as outposts, with the medicinal plants and the obsidian as well. Alright, rest of that looks good. We will build the province up next turn. What about other provinces? There is a lot of sort of convoluted admin in the early game for the Chaos Dwarfs, but at the cost, or the better part of it is in the late game they have a really easy admin because their economy goes crazy and then everything becomes essentially free. So, just waiting on that. Let us upgrade the battlements here, I guess. Probably have to prioritize that, gotta keep that gold sluice coming in, and yeah, build the battlements. Next up we got text coming in shortly. Spice route here, we'll hold off on these because they're too expensive for what they give us, but we can keep upgrading the treasure troves pretty much everywhere. And they're cheap for what they do. And this will upgrade after. And Nobler Country, we're just waiting for the money pits to get going. Alright. And the more money we make as we prioritize outposts and money generation via the gold sluices, the more... Wait, did I level Drazh? I did not. The more armies we can get up and running. Let's get him Master of Hell right now. The buffs for Kadai are fine, but it's a reforge that we really, really want. Really need those heals, especially since he doesn't have his own Demon Smith pet as yet. Blade Master, Hidden Paths, probably not super useful for us right now. Yeah, keep going through Blade Man. Well, let's go for piercing shots. I mean, he's doing range damage a lot of the time. All right, another end turn by the looks of it, minus the possible Diplo, which we do want to take a look at. Yeah, I'll leave it alone. I'll let them fight it out with the Skaven, and if they lose, then we'll kill the Skaven and take all of their territories. Alright, there we are. We can acquire a unit of man-eaters with great weapons for this army. 1,000 gold. It's actually pretty solid for a unit of man-eaters in this little stack. Let's read the... Oh, we already read this one. The ogre strength one. Yeah, alright, fine. Take the ogre's assistance, why not spend that treasury? Raw materials output increase, good. And income from scavenger buildings, minimal, but decent. Raid Zon Migdal. What does this belong to? Who is this faction? House of Baal. Ooh, hello, Tower of Gorgoth. Raw materials, a workload plus 250 income generation. Well, isn't that interesting? And they're right here. And we got Mines of Azgorh, which is a marble quarry. I guess we'll send Gordas southward to fight the Imperials and then start fighting the House of Baal then, eh? Zon Migdal is up there. Alright, so we'll try to complete that quest. You have 2 territories, which is good, meaning we'll be able to take all of these rather quickly. Also, we have another Tower of Jarthing available, and rather than saving up, we are going to grab... I'm going to grab this one. Trade tariffs and diplomatic relations with Chaos Dwarfs claim seat. We do want the industry seat. Industry district to be completed ASAP as well for even more percentages. Everything comes down to those percentages. Drazh, you will march to the edge of this territory in channeling stance and move this way, and we're just going to hope we don't get a war declaration upon us, as you're going to be very far from home. But hey, you got to claim the Tower of Gorgoth and the Mines of Azgorh. You two are moving southward, right? Okay, if I could just select this guy, there we go. You go into March stance. Did I put you into channeling? Yes, you go into March stance and head to the Tower of Grief, and then you will obviously be following this army until you guys are ready to swap those units out. You two will head down to the Imperials, and we'll keep an eye on what's going on between the Skaven and the Nurglites. Next, we will need to build stuff here, so we'll start with the tower, I guess. It's never going to get any cheaper. You've become a factory now, and we can, I guess, start upgrading you. We will also want to upgrade both of the Overseer's camps in only one turn. Beautiful. And unfortunately, we don't have the raw materials to upgrade this stuff yet, but we will later. Alright. Yeah, we really need to look towards grabbing both of these territories. It's a huge sort of expanse, both of these expanses, and we can essentially station very cheap sort of laborer army or hobgob army in either one. I mean, look at this. This is basically full hobgob army for 1,000, and they can essentially police this pretty big territory, which is lovely. We're also starting to get decent cash, meaning we'll soon be able to get another hobgob army up and running, but we'll have to wait a little bit on that. Next up, armaments are at 468, not bad. How's our convoy doing? We got one turn, eh? Alright, nearly there. And they'll get us a little bit of cash for our trouble, which I guess we'll continue needing. What do we want to upgrade here? Flayed Rock, you're fine for now. Plains of Grief, we are out of resources. Black Causeway. I guess you could do the gunsmith, so we'll... Well, you know what, maybe we'll keep on saving the raw materials for now. We just need more raw materials. Oh, we'll also need a lot of extra labor in this place, won't we? But it is what it is. You know what, I guess we'll save the money. I was thinking of upgrading the Overseer's Tower here, but it's not the hugest of deals. Maybe the underground... Might not actually be worth the cost. You know what? Hold off on it. Technology, let's do that. What do we have here? Harbor guilds is irrelevant, but this gives us additional armaments and income from refineries. Is there something here that we would move through that would give us something very, very valuable? Construction cost reduction for tower settlements is nice. Labor action +5 control. Labor gain post-battle. Yeah, there's some good stuff there. Income from trade tariffs and tradable resources produced. Maybe we'll do that. Don't really care about the defenses stuff because we have essentially no places that can defend themselves anyway. You know what? After that, we'll go for the capacity for Demonsmith Sorcerers. We do need another one up and running as fast as possible. Oh, and more diplo relations with Chaos Dwarfs. Yeah, alright, we'll go into sorcery after this. I more or less don't mind ignoring military. Oh, though we should get that recruitment cost before we start recruiting any further. And the unit experience does tempt me, but it's not ultra critical as yet. Alright, just gotta remember that we're gonna switch to sorcery. Otherwise, it looks like we're good for another end turn minus Mr. Herrock the Breaker, who can actually stay near here because you can join the army at the edge of this territory. Like so. Lovely. Alright, and end the turn. Alrighty, there's that convoy completed, and we got ourselves an obedient mutant. Construction time reduction of all buildings. Ooh, that's actually pretty solid. And a free rat ogre of this army. Lovely. You don't get to keep that obedient mutant, though. Obedient as it may be, we'll need it elsewhere. So, we will go to military convoys. First of all, I'd like to take a look at you, sir. Lose the mutant, gain hidden stores and wayfinders. Let's max those out. Yes, I know that we have convoys and money and stuff, but these aren't going to be generating a massive amount right now anyway, so we're fine. And neither of you have anything else. You, how's your HP looking? I mean, you haven't quite healed up, but you're still probably going to be better than a new convoy. Ooh, whoa, sharpshooter. I like. Range for missile infantry. Okay, now we're going to get you on field. Hire a new master. Let's send you immediately to... I forgot where we've been and where we haven't been. But I guess we can... Wait, anywhere near where we can trade a little bit of armaments for labor? Not money, but labor. There we go, we got armaments for labor here. 9 turns away, though. Decent likelihood they'll run into something. Will they survive? I guess, well, they'll find out. Ooh, it would be a shame to lose all that cargo, though. But if they lose it, I guess they lose it. It's not a lot of units, but it's still pretty solid. Alright, let's dispatch them. We'll go for all 400 armaments here for the labor, which we do need right now. Dispatch. Lovely. Enjoy, convoy. Second front, recruit an additional lord. Mission successful. Oh, it counted the convoy guy, yes. Well, good for the convoy. Kuntij. That's going to that's going to be annoying. It's not as bad as Golgi in terms of the game being annoying about it, but it's still, yeah. You go here, both of you together. And before we do anything else, this is the toxic steam vents. All right, so you take the obedient mutant just for a turn. Then we will want to immediately upgrade the. Oh, we can't do that. Overseer's Tower, 4,000 gold. Toxic steam vents, Overseer's Tower. Mine shaft is expensive, but well, what isn't these days? Let's get the gold for the gold from the gold panners, rather. How's the labor here? It's all right. You can also get the herbalist's camp, and then we'll upgrade you when you're tier 3, meaning you can't get either of those, meaning you can get the money pit, at least for now. We'll upgrade these possibly, but it doesn't necessarily mean we have to right now, but let's upgrade 1. Because otherwise we won't have money. Mines of Azgorh, what do we have here? Not too much in the way of defenders, so we should be just fine, right? We should also be getting the Blazing Beards of Bajorak next turn, which are pretty strong. Chaos Dwarf Warrior with shield unit. Alright, you guys are currently at war with Greyhag, who hate us because they're greenskins, and out of curiosity, how much money will they offer us for joining the war against the House of Baal? 2.4k, we'll take it. Even though the other Chaos Dwarves won't be happy about us dealing with them, well, we can attack them anyway. Why the heck not, right? And that gave us just enough money to upgrade this before we leave this province. Alrighty. I do like the sort of change of pace in the sense that there's a lot of, well, fairly interesting management with the Chaos Dwarfs. I mean, they're just about just as much about management as they are about other stuff out of resolve. And occupy as... Almost tempted to take this location as a factory, but wait, do outpost first. There's a... Okay, I'm gonna forget. This does what again? Hey, we got the Graven Scepter. Nice, sort of. It's actually significantly worse than the... you know what? I think for now, despite the fact that this does give us some benefits, the... Okay, if we lose... Oh, you still have the Crown of Skulls, eh? Oh, the Graven Scepter is a weapon. Oh, interesting. Oh, it's a Demon Spite Crucible that takes the place of the Crown of Skulls. Okay, this is good. This works for us because otherwise we would have to lose that, and I like the hunger on him. Hey, free Conclave influence as well as 5,000 money. Beautiful. Now, back to trying to figure this out. You give us a raw materials output increase 500, meaning that yes, this place is probably good as an outpost. You've kept the money pit, but that's fine, and I guess we can upgrade you, but it doesn't necessarily have to be right now, as there are other things to upgrade. You two, go on a move to fight Imperials. Oh, yeah, I guess we'll be doing that next turn. Anybody else need to do anything? Oh, I didn't move you into the army. That's my bad. Join army, please. And there we go, we might as well also give you, sir, a Forbidden Rod, not a Trickster's Shard. We could actually give you the Sky Titan String. Nah, but then we'll lose Flammable, which is probably the better option. Let's lose the Scepters of Stability and the Scrolls of Power. Helm of Discord, very nice. This army is certainly gonna need it. And Talayan Pavis, missile, block chance and reload time reduction. It's actually solid for you, or at least it will be once you're hovering up above. So let's give you the Talayan Pavis, and then Helm of Discord, maybe on Gordas? He's always kind of in trouble, so let's do that. Alright, we might as well actually, technically, you will need the Dawnstone, but well, whatever, we'll deal with it later. Alright. Items have been swapped. This place is now looking good. Let's check out how we're doing with our labor and public order. Looks pretty okay, manageable. There's a little bit of public order in Nobler Country, but we can transfer as needed. Let's see what we got in terms of building. We do have a little bit of raw material to spend, meaning we could do more sluice gates. More money flowing. For those armies, we could upgrade the Boulder Bellies hold, which is certainly a possibility, minus the horrific expense. And, yes, this place. Okay, I forgot about you. Rather than the control, go doubling up on the strip mines. And I guess we could upgrade both of the locked stores. It would be nice to reduce their costs and stuff, but we might as well start on it now. And there we go, that's all our money, which means we end turn, and then I think 2 more turns until we get to attack these guys. Also... Ooh, oh man, this map is so cool. Well, let's see, we have high quality assembly. Oh wow, we have gold, iron, marble, and volcanic deposits here. Yeah, this was a good move. It was a good move to come here. We will need to fight the Greyhag Greenskins, who do have 5 territories, but if they're all in a line in this way, this is going to be just fine. Yes. It looks like this guy will be happy. Alright. Let us... Wait. Do we have the ability to upgrade? No, not yet. Alright, so we'll do it next turn. Building upgrade, and then the turn? And the turn. Alrighty, the convoy has that guide thing. A guide has tracked down our convoy, offering to lead the way to our destination in exchange for a reasonable donation to his pocket. His price is frankly extortionate, but as they say in business, time is of the essence. Pay and follow the guide. Sure, it's only 500 gold, and our gold is in a pretty good position right now. A sticky situation. An exceptionally stupid goblin laborer, likely discontented with his meager lot in life, has slipped and fallen into the machinery upon which he was working. This has temporarily slowed down production while his entrails are unwound and the mess is cleared away by his peers. Such a thing threatens to halt production entirely. What steps will you take? Throw more bodies at the... No, 8 turns, -5 control. Are you crazy, game? Invest in safety equipment. By limiting the movements of our laborers, we should be able to stop this sort of thing from happening in the future. Fair enough. Invest in safety equipment. Alright, Zufbar has been destroyed. There's that next tech up and running. A little bit more money flow. We're going to ignore wartime economy because it doesn't really help us. And as I said earlier, we're going to switch to pandemic prep and the various techs therein, trying to get another demon smith up and running. You two can't go as far as I'd like, can you? We should probably try to take Noblar Warrens and then immediately move down to... Ooh, hello, we can upgrade you, which we may or may not do in a second, and then immediately try to move down here to Direbogs and Pigbarter. We really don't want these guys to attack us. Just want to double check, you currently have 4 territories, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, so we at least do have vision of them all. So, in that light, I guess we'll go here, and then we'll need to underway stance afterwards, and then you can go... I mean, I guess you can channel as well. There we go. Looks like nobody at Noblar Warrens, and it's relatively sparsely defended. Nice. Or at the very least, it works for us. You, sir, are going to Bajurak Mine next and get that lovely iron for ourselves, so go here. I guess you don't technically need to channel this turn. I'll do it anyway. But we can't set up and camp and get that additional constant casualty punishment. Look how little we're healing. 66. It takes 2 turns to replenish this. We really probably should have tried to acquire this or prioritize this now that we have no way to heal the army. But anyway, let's max out the industry district, which belongs to us in its entirety. Yeah, kind of makes sense. Grants a follower or banner. You know what? This actually isn't that great. It's just that it is raw materials output. I'm just thinking maybe we could ignore it and just try to head as fast as we can through to Conclave, gain +1 per factory. We're halfway there. Or, of course, the Kadai Fireborn summoning, which would be nice as well. Both good options. Anyway, let's ignore that for now. Let's do some upgrades. And aha, we'll need to get rid of some of our laborers. Control is dropping now. But unfortunately, until we fight a couple more times, we don't really have any labor to spare. Meaning we'll have to wait a little bit on it. Alright, we'll just do the building upgrades then, at least for now. Let us... Yeah, we should probably still go for the gold refinery. Our raw materials are starting to flow, so we're free to upgrade the other stuff, I guess. Double the amount of money generation. Yeah, do that. What do we have here? We have the gunsmith if we should want it. Can upgrade the locked stores, but that's not a big deal. We've got... How much is this going to cost to upgrade? Ugh. Quite expensive. I think we'll hold off on it. Gotta prioritize what is important. Aha, Magpie Town. Let's upgrade you. It is a tower, and the garrison of the tower is terrible. Gotta do better, Chaos Dwarfs. Come on now. And I guess that's all. We could upgrade the... Well, you know what? While we're here and reducing the costs, we should probably do this. And we are out of raw materials and everything else, so I guess... Unless we want to get the gunsmith. Just get the gunsmith. It's gonna keep bothering me every single turn unless we build it right now. So, now we're good. We'll ignore the tower, we'll ignore the Hellforge and building upgrades and stuff. Let's end the turn, proceed to Noblar Warrens, and then also declare war upon the Grey Hag Greenskins. She just had a curiosity. 1 second. Turn 15. Okay, so we're nearly there, and we'll probably get a quest for this actual fight, which would be lovely. Go. Alright, new convoy contracts. That doesn't mean our current convoy has completed its journey, though, and I guess you guys are going to go to Nablar Warrens now. You can't get intercepted because the enemy is not, well, we haven't declared war yet. Alright, so go here, and then go here, and then I guess we'll attack next turn. Actually, if we can have Middle Manager Stormbreaker grab this, and then you jump down here, we'll immediately be able to tell. Yeah, there's a full stack down there, which would be pretty perfect for us. For now, though, Drazh, you're going to move into Bazharek Mine. You are currently at war with they're only at war with these guys, which we're already at war with, so we can't ask them for money in order to, quote-unquote, help them out. Hit Bazharek Mine, please, like so. Declare war. Yes. And I wonder if these guys have any stacks running around. Not to where we're not ending the episode until we get at least one more battle going. I'm kind of wary of, you know, we can do this fight just because it's a little fight, just because we can. It'll take an extra 2 minutes and we'll get to see some action. Maybe it's worth our time. Not like there is anything critical otherwise. We do need, oh wow, we really need the labor now. Both to keep our stuff going, as well as to get the public order back up and running. Alright, yeah, I think we'll need to start generating another army. Anyway, let's fight this real quick. Tiny battle go. Alright, here we go. It's gonna be just a smaller fight, but hopefully we'll keep it fun. Gonna take some nice little formations of our army with the humanoid resources, the units of Chaos Dwarf Warriors out front in smaller squares, and then our piles of arranged units behind them and artillery firing from behind them as well. Of course, the enemy army stands no chance, but it's still nice to watch our units fight in formation. And ooh, it looks like a magma cannon does manage to clip the wings of CINDERBREATH there. I'm sure the fire resistance that we have probably means that it didn't take too much damage to it. 70% fire resistance, yeah, so even getting hit by that, not a big deal. And besides, we got flames of our own as CINDERBREATH will get the Baal Taurus breath up on the enemy. And the enemy will continue charging towards us. Just a big old blob, no tactics here. And we fire those fire glaives over the heads of our dwarf warriors. Here come the fire arrows, and shortly, here come the blunderbusses as well. Alright, do have to be careful about clipping our own units. Just fire over their heads. At least the boar boys make that a little bit easier. This is still dangerous for our troops, but there is one nice thing about the fact that SFO nerfs the blunderbusses, or in the same sense that it nerfs all range units by taking longer to destroy enemies, and that is the fact that since they don't obliterate everything in a single volley anymore, it does mean that when you hit your own units, you won't just kill off your own unit in a single volley either. Anyway, that little orc and goblin army had a very, very bad time. Some trolls attempt to make their way forward, but trolls hate fire as it interferes with their regeneration, and they get ripped apart in seconds. And just a couple more units away, this troll just trying to book it on out of there. And it looks like this one, by the looks of it, will make it into the woods. Of course, the enemy army will be destroyed, but still pretty amusing. Ooh, nice little volley from those fire glaives. And it does look like a couple of the archer units are still fighting, though I'd wager not for very long since the balance of power is just a sliver at this point. Also, I forgot to say this, but just a reminder, guys, for those interested in seeing, well, very particular other campaigns, the vote for the next campaign is currently ongoing in the posts/community tab of the channel, so do make your voices heard. I think the top 2 choices are within like 20 votes of each other, and considering we're probably going to get about 1,000 more votes, it could change quite a bit as to which faction wins. So, and do keep it in mind if you're interested. Anyway, decisive victory and a nice little formation. Alright, there we go. Just a small battle, but, well, fighting in ordered ranks in that manner is pretty darn fun. Now, Bazharek Mine. I don't remember if it was gold or if it was iron. I really wish that it would display it here because this is not very helpful. We're gonna try factory. Is this iron? Yes, alright, so factory, iron. That works out well. Lovely. And what does gold do for us? Is it just straight up money? Money and Lord and Hero Recruit rank. Ooh, gold is quite nice. I like it. And the Blazing Beards of Bazharek are now available to us as well, so we'll be probably getting rid of this Hobgoblin Sneaky Git in favor of getting them. Well, we don't have to spend the money until we reach these guys. Now, I want a proper fight. Those guys are were a little bit weak, so we'll keep going for now. We did get a bit of labor, but not quite good enough. Let's transfer like this to keep it more or less even. Like so. At least for one turn it'll be roughly 100, and we'll get a little bit of extra in the Lower River Ruin as well, which is good because it has the highest public order and thus the least likely to lose it all. Actually, out of curiosity, Lower River Ruin, you're losing 39. We could drop by 200 and, well, we'd still be losing a fair bit, so I think we can't do that right now. Alright, it is what it is. Let's see what else we can build with the resources that we currently have. We do have decent raw materials, which means we can go for additional armaments. The cost of, yeah, but I don't want to lose the raw materials at this point. Well, let's get the free and easy locked stones, which is just easy money. And then what about here? We could probably go for the Miner's Workshop. We have the tier 3 here now, so yeah, let's pump out the Obsidian Quarry ASAP. Lots of raw materials. It will need additional stuff, but that's fine, and then I guess we will build the Miner's Workshop here. At least it's relatively cheap. Toxic Steam Vents, you can also go for the Money Pit, and I could upgrade the gold sluice, assuming that there's nothing else that we absolutely need to upgrade. Well, we could upgrade the factory here immediately. Can't go for the high-quality assembly line, but we probably can. You know, let's not waste any more raw materials right now. Let's just go straight for the Miner's Workshop. Oh, no, we won't be able to build one here because of the iron. Meaning we have to build one of these. Meaning I guess we'll once again go for the gold sluice. Well, that's only with raw material, with 150 raw materials. Yeah, just fine. Lose the raw materials, gain a little bit more cash. We need more armies. You gotta do what you gotta do, and you know what? Upgrade this gold sluice as well. And Tower of Grief. Ah. So the only thing that we're missing is the building that allows us to build these guys, the Bull Centaur Taurox, in terms of military stuff. Obviously, we'll need to repeat a bunch of others, but let's do this right now. I want this thing up and running, and get our first Bull Centaur Taurox. If he heals the army, provides casualty or punishment rate, that would be just lovely. Otherwise, I believe we've got no moves to make, so skip, and assuming that there's no Diplo, I'm just going to assume there's no Diplo, end turn. Alright, Waffles for Red Eye, faction destroyed, some faction I've never heard of, pandemic preparations, and mission issued, gain a substantial income. Ooh, potion of healing and razor standard. Can Gordas use the potion of healing? No, the banner of slavery prevents it, unfortunately. And it's a very strong buff, so we can't lose it. Alright, fair enough. Gain a substantial income, there it is. Then, I guess it's time to declare war upon these guys, and then move immediately down to the Dire Bogs. Do we have any army opposing Drazh right now? By the looks of it, no, so he can move to the edge of this territory, and I'm just going to be hopeful that we can immediately... Ah! Hello, Mr. Gargath. Can we reach you? Oh, we can reach you. Oh, fantastic. Ooh, and you actually have Chaos Dwarfs. That's what I like to see. Alright, finally. I really didn't want to end this episode until we actually had a battle. I'd love to get the Blazing Beards of Bazharek, but we can't risk it. Sometimes when you get an extra unit in your army, it screws with the movement range, so we're not going to let that happen. Let's go for We Are Legion. I mean, to be honest, it only benefits one Fireglaive right now, so maybe it's not actually worth our time. Ashen, we can also, I guess, ignore. Let's then move through this towards Flames of Azgorh. Yeah. Curse of Hushut, and then that thing will be next. There we go. Finally got ourselves a proper fight. Before we jump into that, though, just out of curiosity, you two. You are currently at war with Clan Ricket. who we do know. So Ricket, we will talk to you and we will join your war against Pigbarter. Like so. We will not, however, do the non-aggression pact as yet. I mean, because if they're holding territory that we want, well, they're also trading with Caravan of Blue Roses and Death Roll and Hag Grief or Death Toll. Interesting. Maybe we could ally with them briefly and then potentially betray them later if needed. This way we get money and another barrier, potentially. Because we want to head towards Jarnagrund, so yeah. Let's do this for now, with Clan Ricket. We will want at least one Skaven ally, so that hasn't changed. Alright, then we will have Mr. Middle Manager Stormbreaker attack Nobbler Warrens. And we should still be able to do this with an auto-resolve. Hopefully it doesn't damage our Gabos too much. Got a free Demon Flask out of it with the Vortex ability. Beautiful. Alright, and we will oh, I didn't check what we needed to occupy this place as. Let's go Factory for now. We'll change it if we need to. And it immediately gives us another weapons workshop. More armaments per turn, we'll take it. We'll take it, just gotta be careful about the other stuff. Got a Hattery here, eh? Alright, fair enough. Hold is this, and do beasts do anything for us? No. Alright, you. Go down here. You won't be able to heal this turn, but at least... Okay, I assume you won't be able to go here. Sometimes it lies, but no, it looks like no. So let's do this, and oh! Skaven Rebellion, go figure. Well, we really want this province for ourselves to complete our own province, so no choice there. Harsh Master for you, sir. Now, that was that, other than... I was hoping Gordas would level, but alas, no. Let's get to you, Fireball. Gotta try to get into Flaming Sword of Ruin and Cascading Fire Cloak as fast as possible. We'll also, I guess, give you that Demon Flask of Ashok. Ashak, rather. Because you can use it as a supporting item, and it's a miscast chance reducer as well. No additional spell resistance. We can actually really give you an obsidian lodestone if we get one. Alright, then I guess you can hold on to the Dawnstone. It's kind of bothering me that nobody's using it. Same with, I guess, the Sky Titan string, but it's not super useful for us right now anyway. Time for us to get a proper fight. Foolish, foolish March Stancing, Gargath. Alright, and obviously we'll do this one cinematically. 3 blunderbusses, Chaos Dwarf Warriors, a little bit of like on like. I don't imagine they stand too much of a chance, however, because the vigor reduction is massive in SFO. Let's hope we can at least steal... Ooh, those glittering scales. Go.
Legion of Azgorh, Suital Rumleth.
Alrighty, here we go again. I am so glad that we caught this army, even if it is just another Chaos Dwarf stack. I mean, we are fighting for dominion over all of the Darklands, and so it does make sense that we'll be having at least a little bit of like-on-like action. Anyway, today is CINDERBREATH's show / Drazhoath's, but the entire campaign is Drazhoath, so we're going to continue showing off CINDERBREATH's capabilities here, and harassing the enemy army as we move towards them. The rest of our army is deployed once again in formation up on top of this hill, ready to fire down upon the enemy once they get sufficiently annoyed to move towards us. So that's the goal here. CINDERBREATH and Drazh will continue to dish out damage, dive down upon the enemy, and start annoying those fragile units of hobgobs. Let's see how long it takes them to move towards us. We are keeping away from the enemy blunderbusses because they are still very much a threat. We've seen them bring down that giant in the first episode of the campaign. And I don't imagine we'd be able to take too many volleys, especially considering the blunderbusses don't do fire damage, so all that fire resistance we've got wouldn't help us against them. Anyway, Drazh continues being a complete menace over on the left flank and annoying those poor archers which just can't seem to get away. There we go. I love that AoE effect. And let's see how many units we can or have to gore before the enemy army starts moving towards us. They're certainly not doing so yet, at the very least the entire army isn't, but the enemy overseer does look like they're heading towards Drazh, and if they want to make a fight of it, well, I'm sure we'll be perfectly happy to do so. Ooh, a very nice Burning Wrath this time, actually landing all 3 shots upon the enemy, despite being on ground. Of course, the hits to the enemy Wolf Raiders, probably they are too spread out to do too much damage, but that's alright. And it's Bale Taurus versus a regular Taurus. I'm sorry, Mr. Overseer, you have an inferior type of Taurus here. And I just don't think that's going to end too well for you. And I think he agrees as he hits Drazh once or twice and then books it on out of there as soon as Drazh activates the Graven Scepter and the increased damage that it offers. Enemy army is now sufficiently annoyed by the looks of it and will head towards us. They do attempt to close the distance with a unit of Wolf Raiders, but they did apparently get absolutely torn apart by the Cremation Corps. Out here, oh, it looks like the enemy lord's back. And he wants to fight Drazh some more? Well, that's fine by us. I like the sync animations when these two fight together too, kind of lifting off of the ground and then getting knocked back. And I don't know who that AoE was supposed to be hitting from the enemy lord. But I do imagine this fight is very much in our favor, especially with Dark Subjugation down, as the enemy is reduced to only 9 melee defense. By the looks of it, wants to back off. Otherwise, the enemy army is moving into range of our magma cannons, which will begin firing away, and of course, focusing down the enemy Chaos Dwarf Warriors, and by and large ignoring the laborers and such as best we can, unless I lied. Well, they'll be targeted at the Chaos Dwarf Warriors as soon as they can. And get a couple shots of them shooting. There we go, and okay, stop shooting at that one. Switch to the Chaos Dwarf Warriors, please. Which I think they will do, or in a second. Anyway, let's take a look at how Drazh is doing back here. Enemy Lord is down to 60% of his HP. Drazh has taken some damage. Of course, Drazh is surrounded, or has been surrounded this entire time, while fighting the enemy Lord, but I think that actually works in our favor, as our splash damage is thus doing something, and the enemy Lord's not so much. Besides, the reason we don't really care about damage to Drazh at the current time is that he does have a healing potion on him, so he can always heal himself up if he needs to do so. Enemy Lord down to half HP. Looks like one of the units of Hobgob Archers is booking it on out of there. And the targeting of the Chaos Dwarf Warriors continues, though, yeah, once again, the slowness of the Chaos Dwarf Warriors means it will take a fairly long time for them to reach our army. Alright, let's fast forward it a little bit as the enemy once again regroups and gets ready to move forward, and we've seen Drazh and this guy exchange blows like a dozen times already, and there we go. Drazh brings him down to 10% of his HP at the cost of, what, about 40% of his? Plus, of course, the enemy hitting him as well. And it looks like the enemy lord is broken, exhausted, down to 48 speed, which means we should be able to catch him just fine. What's slowing him down so much, incidentally? Oh, it's wounds plus exhausted. Well, sucks to be him, or sucks to have been him, I suppose, as Drazh and CINDERBREATH deliver the final blow, and Lord and Taurus alike fall to the ground below. Beautiful. The enemy army continues on its approach, though the Chaos Warriors, at the very least, the Chaos Dwarf Warriors, are heavily damaged enough now to prove no real threat, but it's the blunderbusses that we will have to be concerned about. Over on the left flank, the enemy decided to try to flank us with some Hobgob Sneaky Gits and some archers, and the archers will take dagger spam from our own precursor weapons from our own Sneaky Gits, and do lose quite a lot of their number from those volleys. Nice. Damn, so many daggers flying at your face. And yeah, these guys got obliterated by the dagger throws. Beautiful. The rest of the enemy units have arrived, now taking fire from the fire glaives, and in a few seconds, the blunderbusses. Always absolutely horrific to try to take a Chaos Dwarf held position like this. And we don't even have Dreadquakes and a lot of other things as yet. But it's only a matter of time. And of course, with every turn, that time will accelerate as our economy continues to kick into gear. There we go. It does look like at least a couple of the enemy gobos have managed to reach our Chaos Dwarf lines. That means we can move forward and press the attack. And Drazhoath has landed upon one of the units of Chaos Dwarf blunderbusses, whereas both of the other two have at this point been cleared out by our magma cannons, who have been doing a fantastic job. Red versus blue type of engagement here, as their Hobgob Sneaky gets fight against ours. And ours are no longer superior to the enemy's, simply because we no longer have Gordas in the army, as he's got his own things to do. But that's no big deal, as it looks like the enemy army, pretty much as soon as it reaches the hill, gets crushed by our army, and is pretty much done for. And there we go. I do like to keep the Kadai unit in reserve for where the enemy manages to charge us, but in this particular case they got softened up so much by Drazh, by CINDERBREATH, and by the magma cannons that there wasn't any real need. And man, Drazh seems to be miscasting a lot lately. I imagine some of his items will give him some miscast-based chance reduction, and of course we'll apply some skill points to get him those reductions as well. Anyway, with that the battle ends. We technically don't need to chase because the enemy army's in march stance, which admittedly also probably screwed them over pretty consistently. Or pretty hard, whatever. Anyway, lovely little fight. Hey, and we did get the glittering scales. Perfect, absolutely perfect, exactly the thing we wanted. And Gordas' army will probably need it, because the melee attack will be helpful for his hobgobs in terms of fighting and surviving. We got decent money, but we have to take the 423 labor. We've been really needing this. And once again, the enemy had a very decent sort of balanced army, with decent amounts of melee and range and even some cav and stuff. Unfortunately for them today was Drazhoath's show, and he and CINDERBREATH were absolutely showing off, ripping apart units, casting spells, and dueling the enemy lord as well, all while exposed and unprotected by his own army. And we don't even have Flames of Azgorh yet, which we will eventually. Anyway, take the labor, transport the captives, and that should mean we should have a... Is this a battle marker? I guess a battle marker. We should have the free ability to take the Tower of Gorgoth next episode, well, next turn and next episode. Possibly after Mines of Gorgoth. We may not want the Chaos Forces to raise it here, which they very well might, but we'll see. Anyway, folks, with that, we are very, very much out of time. I really just didn't want to end the episode until we got ourselves another nice battle underway, which we damn well did. Next time, we will have our debut battle for the new and improved Hobgob force, and we'll generally sort of screw around with them while destroying the Imperials or the Southern Realmers of Pig Barter, and then figuring out where we want to move on to next, whether it be the Ogres or the Caravan of Blue Roses or whatever. They do have 2 territories only, and if we take one, we might be able to leave them in Haunted Grove. I'll think about it. I don't know whether we actually want to allow them to do so, considering, once again, it's a lot of territory that's out of the way, and there's not really any units that we'd want from them. Possibly Mortis engines, but again, close proximity to us, so we'll have to think about it. And next time, we'll be getting our next army up and running as well, or at the very least, starting with the basics of the next army, and seeing whether we can get it moving somewhere. And, ooh, well, Centaur-Torix are now available. Ooh, Bloodgreed, Impatient. Oh, yes. Wait, I want to see... No, they have training. Wait, so no hero other than Gordas for the entire factions provide casualty or punishment rate? Well, that's interesting. Not great, but interesting. And you have nothing in this line. Maybe the Demonsmith has something in this line? Somebody has to provide us at least a little bit of casualty or punishment, right? Please, anybody. Anywhere at all. I don't see it. Go figure. Only hindering replenishment. Which is kind of appropriate for the Chaos Stores, but I will just have to try to figure it out and try to get whatever casualty punishment we can get out of techs. I will try to take a look at them and find them between the episodes, as well as whatever else we can get. Let's get the Demonsmith Sorcerer selected, and I just want to keep on playing, so I won't stop. But anyway, calling it here a super long episode. Had to have those battles, which we did. More to come, so stay tuned. Don't forget to leave those likes and comments below, especially the threshold for the longer episodes, which admittedly this campaign does need. All glory to the algorithm, and thanks for watching.